And now the audio is working. Right?
Working or not?
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Now the audio is working. Like I said before I turned on my microphone, we are on Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram. We'll be mostly looking at YouTube for comments to answer your questions because the service that we use to merge all the comments into one thing not working today. So we'll be looking at YouTube. We are on the other ones, but we may miss your question unless it's on YouTube. And let us know if this stream is choppy as heck. Kind of looks like it is on my end, but does it look pretty choppy? Like, is the audio cutting in and out and everything?
The audio seems like it's okay, but the video.
Okay, well, if the audio is okay, if they can hear me, that's fine. And let's get some additional lighting over here, seeing as it's getting dark out. So, yeah, it's the first time I've streamed to 3 platforms at once, so probably some bugs to work out there. It says we're dropping 80% of the frames, so that can't be good, right? But we're here to answer any. Did you show them the cat?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they can see it on this one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But if you got any questions, let us know. We're just hanging out here to answer questions. Cats. Yes, we have a cat. We found him in the dumps in the alley. He was 6 weeks old. That's a cat. He was 6 weeks old when we found him. He was in the ditch, so he ended up staying with us. Just meowing all day back there, apparently, and when we found him, he just came right up to us and let us take him home. So, seems like there's a significant stream delay as well. Are the previous winners going to be the ones announcing the winners for the categories this year? I think that's how it was last year. Hopefully, yes. We'll be sending out emails to all previous winners shortly after the nominations to get those videos in. And then anyone from last year who doesn't want to do it, we can send it in. We'll send it to the next year's winners and then so forth and so forth. So hopefully everyone agrees to just do it this year. Sometimes people aren't available, so we have to go to the next person on the list. And then if no one's available, either Jennifer or I end up doing it. So that's always fun, having a little bit of extra screen time. But yeah, we'll be sending out messages to everyone who's won before. In case anyone doesn't know already, the Canadian Podcast Awards are myself and my wife Jennifer. We do this purely out of, I guess, love for the community, passion for podcasting. We both met through podcasting. So this is something that we do for the community for free. We don't make any money doing this. And we're happy to promote Canadian podcasts, Canadian content. So that's why we do it. And often that's why you may find things difficult or slow to get responses back or how the process works. It's just the two of us. It takes a lot of time for us to go through every profile, to verify you're Canadian and a podcaster. It takes a lot of time to go through the podcast to make sure that people aren't just lying to us about who they are and where their podcasts from, or the people that run their podcast. So yeah, it's just the two of us. We do it for free. So ideally, things would be a little bit smoother in terms of like the sample audio file. We'd love for that to be smoother, but we don't have the capacity to host all those files ourselves. So whenever that blue light goes off, it means someone's made a nomination. So we don't have the capacity to host those files ourselves, so we require you to have a link directly to those files so that when people are judging your shows, they can just click on a play button inside of the form and hear the show. Hosting those files ourselves would be pretty expensive and kind of a lot of work to manage. So that's why we ask for you to do it. We may in the future offer a paid tier where you can just upload a file, and that payment covers the cost of hosting those files and the work that goes into that. But currently, we're relying on you to do a little bit of work to get your nomination in. Hopefully, you're able to do it. If not, we have an FAQ on the website. And if you have any issues further than that, you can always message us, and we'll try and figure out why that specific link isn't working. And yeah, that's what I got for that. Does anyone have any questions about that, about the awards, about who we are, why we do this, what our favorite TV shows are, stuff like that, what our weekend plans are? No one on Instagram? We're hoping to have the awards wrapped up by the end of November. Hopefully everyone gets their videos in by the deadline and we don't have to wait for people to submit their videos or presenters to submit their videos. That's usually what holds us up. That and historically funerals have held us up previous years. But we really want to get this done by November. We have a lot of different other groups that we run and manage that we kind of have to shift to. PodCamp is coming up in February 28th and March 1st, so that's tickets for that are already available. Session submissions are available for that. So a note to anyone who has been nominated or thinks they've been nominated or has nominated themselves: there is an additional step once you've been nominated or nominate yourself. You have to confirm that you're willing to participate by sending us videos, and you can do that. An email will be sent out to you with a link to do that. If you didn't get the email or if it went to your spam, check your spam, your trash. If you have an email quarantine, check that. Otherwise, you would go to the website, click edit on your podcast, and at the very top of the edit screen for your podcast, there'll be that form to confirm your sample files and your participation. So we require people to confirm because we don't want to have to be chasing after people for their videos of acceptance. If they've won, that's a lot of chasing after people to make sure they get their video. And if they don't confirm that they want to participate, we have to assume that they're not interested or that they don't have the capacity to participate this year, which we're fine with, but we would just like to know that ahead of time before we have to chase people down to get submissions for the videos, which is hurting cats a little bit to get all of the submissions. I believe you did, yes, Jess. You will get an email. If you just submitted, you will get an email. We send the emails out once a day. Usually whenever I see a bunch of new nominations have come through, I'll initiate the email, but at least once a day those go out. There will also be an email that goes out probably tomorrow or on the 1st that gives you like a last chance email to confirm your submissions. But if you go now to your if you go to the website, go to the directory, search for your podcast, click the edit button under your podcast, you will go to the page where you can fill out that confirmation as well. We're excited to have Shure back again this year as a sponsor. I'm sure everyone knows Shure by now. They've been a big sponsor for a number of years now, and they make some great products. You know, we had some people bring out microphones to Fan Expo. What was that, like 2 months ago? And showing off the microphones to people and talking about just how great they were. So it's a great product. They make them in mind for podcasters and content creators. So great company to support, and we love the support that they show us. So we hope the community shows them support as well by purchasing their products or at least considering their products. We also have Amber Mac Media this year sponsoring the debut category. Amber has been a big supporter of PodCamp previously. She's been winner of a couple of Canadian Podcast Awards. So she is back supporting the CamPod Awards and the debut category. Web Hosting Canada is also a sponsor this year. They've also sponsored PodCamp Toronto. Now more than ever, it's important to make sure that the things that you use, like your hosting or your domain names, are Canadian. I'm sure I don't need to tell anyone what's going on in the world that would make that a necessity, but it's always good to make sure that you're dealing with Canadian companies, Canadian people, and the Canadian economy as Canadian content creators. So if you're looking for a website, domain names, head over to Web Hosting Canada, and they are a company that's out of Montreal. And then PodCamp Toronto is also a partner with us. Obviously, we run that event as well, so they're a big part of this. And Lashinsky Design, which is me, I do all of the graphics, the video work, the website, pretty much anything. Jennifer does most of the people management stuff, so messaging you on Instagram and Facebook. She does all the social media stuff. So it's kind of our role. She does all the event management stuff as well for things like Comic-Con and Fan Expo. So we're only 14 minutes into this, and we need more questions. For the last 2 days, it's been freezing in our apartment building. So I bought a space heater and a heated blanket, and today it's roasting in here right now. And can't open the windows or turn on the air conditioner because I'm streaming. What program do we use for video editing? So we use After Effects. I use a lot for a lot of the animations and stuff like that. So I learned After Effects first. Premiere Pro is what we use now mostly for putting together video clips. So like the videos you see from Fan Expo or Comic-Con, that's usually Premiere Pro. But it's After Effects and Premiere. I'm a graphic designer outside of all of this as like a freelance full-time gig type of thing. So the Adobe suite is right there for me. I pay for it, so I might as well use it for this. Does anyone have any video editing programs that they use that they would recommend to the people watching? And the questions don't really have to be CamPod related. Like, we have an hour here, I'm sure. A lot of the questions are going to be asked and answered before this is over, but ask away. We just did Campfire, which was a great event that we had in the park, Christie Pitts Park, where people got around a campfire, hung out, met each other. It's really fun. Roasted hot dogs, marshmallows. I haven't dabbled in After Effects yet, but I use Premiere Pro. I'm nowhere good, but I'm learning. Yeah, well, it takes a while to learn these programs. Like After Effects, I've been using it for the last 4 or 5 years, like specifically just for the awards. So yeah, there's a bit of a learning curve, but I think I'm pretty good at it now. I can do expressions where you can like have a so how we put together the awards videos is we have a CSV, which is a comma separated file. It's a text file where we can load in who's won, who's been nominated, and what their album art name is, what the colors that their podcast uses, and we can put all of that in a file, and After Effects will read that file and generate the assets for us. So that's a bit more of an advanced level of using After Effects, but it's really great for putting together 31 categories of videos. It certainly helps make it a lot quicker. Yeah, we missed you there, Jess, but you got sick, so you couldn't come. You weren't going to be there anyways before, so thanks to the Hamilton Film Festival, I guess when they canceled, they got you sick as well. I wonder if people are going to be more on this one or more on the one during the midday, like people at work or stuff like that. All right. I got sick and missed everything. It was the worst, but I already have my hotel booked for pod camp. Ooh, fancy. I think I saw you bought your ticket as well. So that's good. And so everyone knows how the process works. You nominate yourself, you get other people to nominate you, podcasts with the most nominations in each categories, move forward into the next round. Oh, the cat's back. It moves into the next round for people to vote on. So the more nominations you get, the better. If you need people to nominate you, feel free to go to the Canadian Podcasters Discord. There's a link at the bottom of our website if you're logged in, that you can join the Canadian Podcasters Discord and campaign for people to vote for you. It's a great community. You can also see current job openings and stuff that are there. Right now, in the job openings, CBC Radio Canada is hiring for French positions. I assume that would be in Quebec. They were also hiring a senior producer for news podcasts a little bit ago, 10/7/25. So at the beginning of the month they were hiring for that. They may not be anymore, but you can check it out. Quill was also hiring some people recently, so if you're looking for jobs, check that out. You can find those in the Canadian Podcaster Discord. We also have channels in there about the awards, buying and selling, trailer promo or swap channel, guest exchange, gear exchange, all sorts of stuff in here. Specific chats for places. So each province has its own chat, so you can chat with people from Ontario or Manitoba, etc., etc. It's a great community. It's fairly active, and it's fun. And that's put together by Al Grego from all the Monaris podcasts and what's his other podcast called?
Just Good Business and
no, the other one.
Yes, We Are Open.
Just Good Business, Yes, We're Open, and
the
Protestant.
Protestant.
Yeah, it does take a while for accounts to be approved because we have to manually go through each one of them. There's only 2 of us, and truthfully, only Jennifer manages that part. I'm busy putting together graphics and videos and stuff. So it's just one person going through how many people have signed up. You think since we
This
opened
year,
nominations?
maybe 200 or
Like
more.
200 applications have come in recently. So Jennifer's going through all of those, trying to get them out quickly, but it does take some time. We're pretty caught up.
Yeah, we're up to date.
Yeah, we're up to date. So it's but it's 200 applications that have come in so far. So it takes a while, but as soon as you're approved and you get that email, start nominating. Nominate anyone else you know with a podcast. Every nomination helps. And anyone who is a Canadian and is a podcaster can participate. And yes, we'll see comments more quickly over on YouTube. We have to like go through each of these accounts to check who's chatting where, but YouTube we have front and center. Also, go to our YouTube anyways and subscribe so that you can watch the awards when they come out. Well, they'll be on YouTube this year again. So subscribe, hit like and the bell. Do people still hit the bell? Hit the bell. You'll be notified of when the awards are coming out. But yeah, we usually do that over at YouTube. So part of this is this stream is also to get people to go to our YouTube and know that our YouTube exists. So Jennifer, you're gonna have to start asking some questions in the chat. Anything else you think we should tell people?
I guess how the nomination process
23 minutes in?
goes.
Kind of already did. You nominate yourself, you nominate other podcasts. The more nominations you get, the more likely it is you're going to get into the next voting round. So the top nominated podcasts, top 5 in each category, move on to the next round for voting.
You must confirm your
Yep,
participation.
And you must confirm your participation. You'll be sent an email, or you can go to your podcast's page to edit the information to make sure your team profile is updated. So we need to know everyone who's on your team. So all your credits, everything from your graphic designer to your composer to the host of the show, we want to know about. And anyone that works on it as like a freelancer, you can add that in there as well. And then just confirm your participation there. And once you're confirmed, you're 90% of the way there. You just got to get enough nominations to make it across the line. Does it say how many people are on Instagram? No, probably, right?
No, me and one.
Yeah, it's 2 on Twitch and 2 on YouTube right now. So for anyone just coming in now, we are mostly looking at YouTube for questions. That's where we can see them the quickest. So if you have any questions, go over to our YouTube page, Campart Awards, and put your question there. And we're happy to answer any question you have about the awards, the process, who we are, why the awards is, where it's going to be. What?
Other events.
Other events that we do, PodCamp's coming up. What we're having for dinner, anything like that. I'll save you what we're having for dinner. I'll answer that now, so you don't have to type that in. I've had shawarma for the past 2 days for every meal, so that's probably what I'm going to eat tonight as well.
By choice.
Well, but I have to eat it before it goes bad. We have a whole chicken. If anyone's wondering, if you've been to Fan Expo or a Comic-Con, How are you guys thinking about the industry these days? From Katie. Uh, well, that's a tough one because we saw like a little bit of a retraction for a bit there, and discoverability is an issue as always. We saw a lot of podcasts start over COVID, and we're seeing less podcasts starting now, and we're also seeing podcasts that started then finish now. So we're seeing a bit less active podcasts, more turnover now, um, which is good and bad, I guess. Like you have these podcasts that have been running for 4 years now, 5 years now. Like Spooked is ending their run with like 500 episodes or something. Uh, so it's good that we've had these podcasts going for so long. It's sad to see them go, but it's kind of good for the industry to get more new content in there as well. And we're always happy to have new members and have new voices to promote. Um, Everything is kind of becoming more capital focused, more ad focused. When we started like doing podcasting stuff, PodCamp 18 years ago, it was a lot of hobbyists and people who were just doing this for fun and weren't really worried about ad breaks or like dynamically inserted ads.
There was no such thing.
Yeah, there wasn't such a thing. So we've seen like a lot of that shift over. Personally, I get it. Like a podcast kind of either has to serve a purpose or you're doing it for yourself. And those are the two camps that we try and cater to. I only really see good things coming up in the future. What do you think?
Yeah, like for the stuff we do, the industry itself doesn't really matter because we're just here to support people who want to be supported. So for the part of stuff that I do with the community building and stuff like that, the industry things don't really apply to what I'm doing. And if anything, it kind of like that it's harder, it kind of brings more people to us, which is not really a great thing because it should be more accessible, but it does give us people to support and bring to different events and see them take the next steps, and then they get on a network or they find out different advertisers or things like that. So for my side of the industry in like bringing people together or uplifting smaller podcasts, we've still seen a lot of growth in that area. A lot of the podcasts that we work with have recently joined networks and are doing a lot more advertising and cross promotion type things. So stuff like that is always, great to see.
Yeah, and like podcasting as a medium, it's going to be around for a long time, I imagine. You see a lot of like video stuff coming up now. People are getting back into video. Video used to be a thing at the beginning of podcasting. I don't know really why it shifted so drastically to just audio, but video podcasts were always a thing. So we're seeing that come back. People are really trying to focus on video. They see that as a new opportunity for discoverability. Spotify is doing video stuff hard now. Netflix is doing stuff. So there's opportunities for everyone. But like we always tell people,
Temper your expectations.
yeah, temper your expectations. Podcasting isn't going to make you rich. You're not going to be the next... I'm not going to say the one that people always say, but you're not going to make $1 million deal on your podcast, probably. It's a very few people that do. So you should be doing your podcast because you like doing it, or because it supports some other business that you do. A lot of the early podcasts were podcasts by people who were using the podcast to promote other things they were doing. The podcast that we both came from, that we met through, was Keith and the Girl. One of them was a singer and the other one was a comedian, and they used the podcast to promote those two business ventures of theirs outside of just the podcast itself. The podcast was a marketing tool. So that's one way people can use podcasting, and there's only upsides in the industry, I think. Like we did see a retraction in video is a big thing, but there's always going to be change. And I think one of the big things is going to be like what we start to define podcast as? It's becoming a bit more nebulous. Like, is it anything is a podcast now? Is The View a podcast, but because it's on TV, it's a TV show? Or is The View on, if The View moved to YouTube, is that now a podcast, or is that still a TV show? Like, the lines are getting a little bit blurred, and I think what is a podcast in most consumers' minds is basically any talk show. And for old people like me, I like it to be a little bit more regimented.
It's an RSS feed.
It comes through an RSS feed, whether it's a video or audio. That's all I really care about. Early when we were doing these awards, we tried to not have people who are repackaging content as podcasts be able to apply. So, there'd be like radio shows who are just taking their radio show and making a podcast. We kind of stopped monitoring that sort of stuff because it kind of feels like podcasting is put on the radio now instead of radio coming to podcasting. But yeah, it seems like the definition of podcasting is going to be something the industry tackles with shortly. And the ability of podcast hosts to support some of the newer stuff that podcasts want to do with Podcasting 2.0. There's a bunch of services out there that support things like adding your team members, adding paid subscription stuff to your I don't know why it's redacting message. Paid subscriptions, Bitcoin stuff. So like, we're hoping we see a lot more support for Podcasting 2.0 in the future, and we hope that the definition of podcasting kind of comes to some sort of consensus within the industry. I know some people are saying like a podcast can be a podcast on YouTube or audio, but if it's something that's on YouTube, it has to work in audio without the video to be a podcast. So even if you have video, it must work in audio. So like if it's a cartoon where you're doing diagrams and stuff, like maybe that's not a podcast. I don't know. Let's check it. It looks like Twitch is blocking some
No, I know
comments.
why it is. It's because he said YouTube. They don't let you talk about other things.
They don't let you talk about YouTube on Twitch?
No.
Wow. Harsh. So that was a long answer to that question. Deep into history can explain what a podcast is to us. All right. Well, we don't stream that often. I think my own personal streaming account, I just used it for hobby stuff, opening 3D printers, sanding, fun, exciting stuff. Yeah, I think it's important that a podcast still works in audio format, because not everyone's going to have, like, I used to listen to it while driving. I used to listen to it in the subway, which, like, I'm usually playing a game while I'm listening to a podcast. So it's not something that I would be necessarily watching. I don't think I've watched any video podcasts except for Give It To Me Straight, which is kind of like a YouTube show first and then a podcast. Rob has a podcast we also watch on YouTube as well rather than in audio. There's a couple of podcasters that are going to be on reality TV this year. Right now, Kevin Jacobs and Sarah, I believe, on the Traders Canada are podcasters. Omar's on there as well. So Kevin and Omar are on Rob as a podcast a lot. Sarah has her own podcast,
The papaya, birds papaya.
Birds Papaya or something like that. We'll probably be making a post about it soon. Also on Drag Race Canada, we'll have Van Gogh on, who's from the Powder Puff Girls,
The powder room.
the Powder Room podcast, and that starts November 20th.
And Saltina.
And Saltina, oh, she has a podcast as well. What is
Village Idiot.
The Village Idiot? So, a lot of, well, not a lot, 4, 5 people on TV that are podcasters, but more than it used to be. So make sure if you're into reality TV, you watch those shows, support them, head over to their socials, show them some love. Just reading the chat. Yeah, it's great that people get to be on TV. And everyone should apply for these shows. Like if you are a pair of podcasters or you have 2 people that are podcasters together, like It's Dangerous to Go Alone, apply for the Amazing Race Canada. Apply to be on Traders or Survivor even accepts Canadian applications.
Oh, yeah.
Solo. Erica was a Survivor winner and she's a Canadian podcaster. And Omar was on Survivor as well. So yeah. Are the awards primarily based on how many nominations? Yes, they are. So the more nominations you get, the better your chances are. The top 5 nominated podcasts in each category move into the next voting round. So yeah, you need more than just yourself nominating your podcast, essentially, for some of the categories. Some of them we get light entries, which we don't always have all 31 categories each year because of the lack of entries. If we don't get at least 5 podcasts in a category, we don't run the podcast category for that year. So if you think you're in a category that's not well represented in our membership, in our database, find some other people quickly who podcast in that same niche and get them to submit their podcast so you all have a chance. But yeah, we'd love to see any other Canadian podcasters on reality TV.
They should make sure all their eligible podcast members are members and voting.
And make sure any of the people who work on your podcast are voting and nominating you as well. Everyone from someone just nominated. Anyone from like your graphic designer to the person who runs your Twitter account to hosting, as long as we can verify that they work on your podcast through like socials, or if you have credits at the end of your show notes, those are what we look for to see if they work on your show. Can I ask, will the episode we submitted be listened to a panel of judges and based on that the award is awarded, or is it public voting as well? So anyone who's a member gets to vote, is a panel of judges. Anyone who's a member will get to listen to the episode and vote based on that. So they'll be given a list of the 5 podcasts that are nominated. Each of them will have an audio player listed with them. We expect that they will listen to all of them. That's what we would prefer, and that they make the decision based on that. Obviously, people may just vote for their friends and whatnot, but we provide the audio files, the sample files, so people can listen to the shows in the categories that they're voting on to make those decisions.
And People's Choice is public.
And People's Choice is actually open to the public. So if you are one of the top 10 nominated podcasts across all categories, you're put into the People's Choice category, which is open to anyone to vote on. And just for anyone who's recently come in, we are mostly looking at comments on YouTube because our software that supports linking all of these platforms together is not working today. So If you want us to answer a question, ask it on YouTube. That's where we'll see it first. We are monitoring the other ones, but it may take us some time to see those. And we also want you to go to our YouTube and subscribe to our channel so you know when we are putting out videos. Looks like Janet asked, we would love to see an indie podcast category for us small independent one-person shows. Well, like, that's the majority of people who actually are members of the Canadian Podcast Awards is small independent shows. Even shows that are part of networks like the Sonar Network are primarily 1 or 2 or 3 people on the show, and they're all the hosts. So we haven't put together an indie category. People have asked about it, but like 90% of the members are from indie podcasts. The big CBCs and the E1s and stuff like that, they're not usually represented very highly. So it is mostly indie podcasts that we deal with in the database and in our membership. So that's why we don't have an indie category. That is why we have a branded category and categories like that, because businesses who are putting together podcasts for CIBC or RBC or something can submit to those categories, because those are far and few between compared to all the indie podcasters that we deal with. Also, indie podcasters, when you become a member, you can apply to come to things like Fan Expo or Comic-Con, where you can promote your podcast to the audiences there. For free. You get a little pass to come in for the day and promote your podcast. We prefer you have some sort of game or something to play with the audience. A lot of the D&D podcasts have like dice rolling games. Spooked had some very put together game where you had like a piece that you put around a house and you had to like flip things.
It was like Don't Get Caught by the Murderer, because their show is about ghosts.
Okay.
Stuff.
So they had a whole thing. So like we always prefer people have something that's interactive with the audience. But that's a fun way to promote your show, hand out business cards. And if anyone does have business cards for their podcast, feel free to mail them to us. We bring them to every event we go to. We have boxes full in our bedroom closet of Canadian podcasters. So yeah, send them to us. If you need our address, message us on Instagram or anything that we have, I think. And if you get our emails, our address is at the bottom of the emails as required by Canadian legislation. I think the essence of Canadian podcasting, we are indie unless CBC or a network funded by some sovereign wealth fund. Yeah, and even the ones that are on networks aren't necessarily funded. They may help the podcast get more exposure through having like audiences on their network, so like cross promotion. But a lot of networks aren't giving money out to these shows to produce their shows. They're still independent shows. And like they maybe maybe the network gets a cut of the ad revenue, so they have a interest in getting ads for those shows. So they may help them out in that way, but they're not paying a lot of these shows to like produce their shows, from what they tell us. Did we miss any comments? No. Looks like we're all caught up. Wow, we only have a little bit to go. 15 minutes. Any other questions about podcasting? About the process, the awards, why the awards are, where the awards are, how you can help, how you can participate, personal questions, whatever, to fill out this last 15 minutes. Why there's no physical award. So we do have like one physical award that you will have seen if you came to Fan Expo or Comic-Con or even PodCamp. I think we bring it to too, don't we? Or no, we don't. Sometimes we do. This is a prototype. The quotes that we've got to make this something that we can give out to people is $300 a trophy.
No.
Oh no, it was $600.
And a $10,000 startup.
$600 and a $10,000 startup fee for producing the molds and stuff. So we're looking at different manufacturers to get those made. We're always looking at new companies to try and get us this a little bit of a cheaper rate. If we do get it done, night deep into history. If we do end up getting someone to produce this for us, it will likely be something that you have to purchase because the awards are free and we don't charge you. It will be something that you have to buy from us if you win an award, because I personally can't afford a $10,000 bill to give out a free award. So you will probably have to pay something to get the actual physical award. The awards are free for now. That may change in the future as well. Depends. But you can just come here and say that. But you can always tell people you've won, put it in your profile, put it in your PR kits. We always like to see people say they've won a Canadian Podcast Awards. I know some people are shy away from it a little bit. They don't want people to know that they're a Canadian podcast, but it's important that you recognize and promote that you are a Canadian podcast, especially nowadays, for, again, reasons we don't need to go into. We will be doing another one of these tomorrow at 2 o'clock, right before we run out of the apartment to go to an event. So hopefully everyone will be there. Jess tells everyone. Jennifer's smiling. Yeah, we love when people promote that they've won a Canadian Podcast Award. It only helps them use it to gain clout and show that they are like a real thing that people can trust.
And we love when you say that you won a Canadian Podcast Award and help us promoting ourselves as well.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but...
Yeah. People like saying that they won awards.
All right, so we're going to wind down here soon. Get your questions in quick. And again, we see them first on YouTube. So if you can head over to our YouTube and ask your questions there, we can see them quicker. Is everyone ready for Halloween? We are not. What are we even going to wear tomorrow? We're supposed to dress up as Lady Gaga or something, right? I don't know. Well, hopefully we figure out something. Ten more minutes. And then I can eat my shawarma. So again, we'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. For anyone who missed this or would rather do this on their work time, totally get it. I would do this if I was at work too. Or if you think of anything that you didn't get to ask here, come back tomorrow, 2 to 3, ask your questions. And yeah. Anything else that we need to tell them? Get your PodCamp tickets, podcamptoronto.com. The early bird is right now. You save 25% if you buy it now. Session submissions are open as well, so submit your speaking proposals. And hopefully at the end of November we'll have the awards. If you know of any venue that has a lot of TVs and would like to host a awards party for free, basically, let us know. We're always looking for a place to do an in-person party or in-person watch party. That'd be great, but a lot of the places we reach out to are like, you have to give us $6,000 minimum. And again, this isn't something that makes $6,000 a year. So if you know of any place that would be willing to have us, that has TV screens that we can watch a YouTube stream on, we'd be happy to go there and have a watch party there. They don't have to like block the place off for just us, but it would be nice to be able to do this in person with people. I guess for me, you're still be on the chat typing the entire time, so. But for me, it'd be good to like hang out with people, especially after it's done. We can get pictures in front of the award and with the banners and stuff. So, if you know of any bar or private event space, condo room, I don't know, BYOB at a condo room or something, that'd be fun. Preferably downtown Toronto. We don't have a car, so nowhere that require us to travel a great distance. What else? If you want to sponsor the awards, we're open to that. Packages are as low as $500. If you have a podcast and you want to run a little 20-second, 30-second commercial during the podcast awards to promote your show, we're open to that as well. It would have to be a video, despite our talk of it having to work in audio. This is a video podcast awards, so if you're interested in promoting your podcast in that way, we'd be open to negotiating what that would look like. And otherwise, there's packages from $500 to $10,000. No one's ever gave us $10,000, so the Monarch Tavern. Check that out, I guess. Yeah, I'd like to, ideally that's kind of the arrangement we would like to have, is like we come in and people buy drinks and that's what happens. I know when we did the event at Stormcrow, we didn't meet the minimum, but we didn't have to pay a minimum on that because they were giving it to us to a free, but they did let us know that we would not have reached anywhere near the minimum. We were not even close to halfway to the minimum on that. So, and that was a group of what, like 30 people?
Yeah, it was just one section.
And it's just one section of the place. So really does need to be somewhere that's not going to charge us, because we have no way of guaranteeing we're going to meet the minimum, which is usually like $4,000 to $6,000. I mean, we could do it not on a Saturday.
Well, but generally that's when.
But yeah, generally we looked for at Saturdays. If there's a place that's has a weekday that they wanted to do it at, they'd be willing to give it to us for free, or just take all the liquor sales or whatever. We're happy to do that as well. But they have to have TVs that can access YouTube. And preferably more than one TV. I'm not saying there's going to be like 100 people there, but I don't want to have 20 people crowded around one bar stool to look at a TV. So anyone who thinks they've been nominated or has nominated themselves, make sure you check to make sure you've confirmed your participation, either through an email that we've sent you or by going to your podcast in our directory and clicking the edit button. You can confirm your participation that way. We require you to give us a sample URL of the audio that you want people who are judging the episodes to listen to. It's a little bit convoluted, but go to our FAQ. You can find different places to host those audio files for free. We don't host those files for free because it costs money, and we do not have the money to do that. And the awards is free, so you can imagine. Well, we've had over almost 2,000 people submitting nominations so far. So imagine 2,000 audio files that we have to host and serve to people, potentially. I think it's like 300 individual podcasts at this point, but so 300 audio files that we have to host and serve, and that's not something that we are super interested in doing for free. It's a lot of bandwidth and storage. 5 more minutes. Any last questions? Suggestions? Comments? Criticisms? That we can stew over. Make sure to tell anyone that you know that is a podcaster about the awards. They can nominate your podcast and help you get into the next round. They can vote for your podcast. The more people that you have on board, the better it is for your show. Sounds like a phone is ringing. Is it your iPad? Or is it my phone? I don't know. I can't hear. I can't. Someone upstairs or downstairs? I don't know. There's a phone ringing here. That doesn't happen here. We're a text-only household. All right. So, only a few more minutes to get your questions in. 7 o'clock. No further questions will be taken. Till tomorrow at 2. When I'll sit here again and just riff for an hour in the sweating steam box that our apartment now is. After 3 days of literally having to microwave rice to warm my hands.
I think Magic Bags is a Canadian company, isn't it?
Oh, is it Canadian?
I don't know. I thought it was.
Well, if Magic Bags is Canadian, they should be a sponsor. Helped warm the Canadian Podcast Awards' hands while they coded a new sample audio file checker verification system. All right, 1 more minute. I think Jennifer's getting the cat. Here's the boy, Ashley himself. Look at the camera nicely. What do you think? We have 1 minute left. You have any questions? When's your dinner? Soon. You have a good night too, Jess. And I guess we have 1 minute left, so I'll start saying my goodbyes. Goodbye. And everyone have a good night. See you maybe tomorrow. If not, make sure you get your nominations in and confirm your participation and get ready to film your videos. I guess we should talk about how people should film their videos, but we only have a minute left. Make sure your video you're framed like this, so there's space above your head and there's space below your head, so that we can put a chyron right here, and there's space above your head so you're not looking like this, or don't have it like this. We've had some wild videos sent in where people are just way too close to the camera, or they're like this, talking into the camera like no one wants to see up your nose. Have it straight on. So maybe we'll send out a guide about how to do that as well. But anyways, thanks everyone for joining. Cat hair. All right, see y'all later.